what is truth. He said it is objectively true. I've seen it, and it's bothering him. He said he's not going to tell his wife. He's not going to tell his kids. He's not going to tell his best friends. And if it comes out, then that's on them. But he doesn't want to share it. So when I hear him and his colleagues said they know the same, David Grush says the same, they're not telling loved ones because of what it implies.
Mm-hmm.
And I again, this is just speculation. I think there's probably one of two things that's bothering him. People think, like, when they talk to me, I got buddies that talk about UFO, aliens, conspiracy, stuff like that. There's a lot of like surface stuff that everyone kind of, objectively thinks, hey, it could be. That people don't really respect you and I and the depth that we've actually had conversation off camera, and obviously probably with our other friends and with our significant others, just the depth of what it could entail. I think the extreme case is they do come from somewhere else. The most likely case with an Earth as old as ours is that they are from here, or in a dimensional concept from here. They're not far. There's a lot of questions with that. I know Tucker Carlson recently had an interview because Grush, the guy that did the congressional hearing and testified before Congress about non-human entities, and we have non-human biologics and all that.
Yeah.
He had him on, and off camera, he disclosed his sources. Off camera, Tucker apparently spoke with these people, and a lot of stuff was said that hasn't been released yet. It will, but Tucker went on with some other colleagues of his a few days after, and I'm gonna butcher the quote, but he said something about he is being challenged with spirituality. He's being challenged right now what it means with us. So when I hear that, I'm like, if with everything that I've learned, again, some that's potentially and some that's, without a shadow of a doubt, truth. What he's saying more than likely is there is a creation aspect with these entities or these beings that David Grush is talking about. So or he might be Catholic. I can't remember. He's either Christian or Catholic, but with his one God belief and creation from that one God and his image and all that, it's being challenged now with what is truth. He said it is objectively true. I've seen it, and it's bothering him. He said he's not going to tell his wife. He's not going to tell his kids. He's not going to tell his best friends. And if it comes out, then that's on them. But he doesn't want to share it. So when I hear him and his colleagues said they know the same, David Grush says the same, they're not telling loved ones because of what it implies.
Mm-hmm.
And I again, this is just speculation. I think there's probably one of two things that's bothering him. One is apocalyptic events and what they're doing with the a potential like hybridization program, abduction program, and everything that happened, around Roswell time that was agreed upon. What that entails with our basically free will. What is morally acceptable? It's probably some dark stuff. Or two, and it could be both, or two, did they play a part in creating us, annihilating us, and continuing our species in some regard? So that was also the second thing I wanted to talk about was, I'm not a big Fox News guy. I'm not a big news guy in general. I get all my news from social media because I believe in the individual person. Let's just say, I know we talk about it a lot in theoretics, like if it is objectively true, if in 2024 they release all this information, and let's just say in some shape, form, or fashion, they can prove it. It's not just, it's false flag, they're lying to us, Project Bluebeam, whatever. if they say, here it all is, and it's objectively true, there is no denying it, what how do you think you would react to that?
Well, first, there were a lot of things that you brought up that things you said that people might not be aware of. So you might want to sometime come back to maybe at another time, like what you're saying with Roswell and the agreements, because I don't remember what president it was, but that's what you're talking about, right? That there was an agreement.
Yeah.
That there was an agreement made. And anyway, so yeah, that's, but like you said, because there's a lot of things that people want to dismiss it because it seems ridiculous. Oh, aliens. But then, and that's why I don't necessarily like using that word, because I don't know what they are, where they came from, or anything like that. But it does seem to me that there's no way that all of these things can be lies. There's no way that they can all be fabricated stories, and for governments around the world to take it serious. Then, I don't believe that it's all lies. And every religion talks about, and even not just religions, mythology, it talks about gods from the heavens coming down, I don't know though I don't know if it's actually, if we're talking about the same thing, we're talking about in the Bible, if we're talking about, we've talked in the past about God, and then he talks about other beings in heaven with him. There's other things in heaven. So I don't know, is it those things coming down that people, when they write it down saying it was an angel, it's viewed as being religion. If somebody writes it down as being an alien, it's viewed as science fiction.
Right.
So, and if it's just really old and nobody thinks of it as a religion, we just call it mythology. Mm-hmm. But they all say the same thing. Yeah. But I don't know though if those are necessarily, like, I don't know if that's another part of God's creation that are just above us, and I don't mean literally above us. I mean above us in the hierarchy,
right? Because
it does seem to me in the Bible, it seems, and in the other religious writings, it really seems like there are other things between us and God, as far as there are other beings that have powers, that have different abilities that we don't have. But they're not God. So they're subjects of God, but yet they definitely have powers that we don't have, abilities that we don't have. Mm-hmm. And so is that what we're seeing? I don't know. Or is it maybe just a completely different thing? And maybe there used to be a civilization here on Earth, and 12,000 years ago, they got wiped out.
Yeah.
Or most of them got wiped out. The few that survived took that technology that they had and have been hiding out either somewhere on Earth that we haven't explored yet, because we've only explored like 5% of our oceans. Mm-hmm. So it's possible. Or, I mean, we know that Elon Musk is trying to build a colony on Mars. So if we have somebody who's trying to do, and he's doing it for the case of if something happens to Earth, we have a place to go. So it's not like no one's ever thought that before. Mm-hmm. And so if there was possibly a civilization a long time ago, which you and I believe there is, but I'm saying possibly, then if they had the technology to get out of here, then they probably would have, or at least get, and maybe they come back periodically to check to see how things are going. I don't know. But for me, it depends on what the information is and whether or not it would really rattle my faith or not, because either way, I still believe that I was created by something for a purpose. I don't know what that purpose is. Basically what I believe is that there is a intelligent creator that created me and everything that I'm aware of in my reality. Mm-hmm. I believe that one God is responsible for that. Now, does that God have helpers? Yeah, I think he does. I think the Bible makes that clear. But I believe there's one true God that is responsible in the same way that if you own a company, you're responsible for the person at the bottom of the totem pole. Even if you didn't actually do whatever it is, you're still ultimately responsible. Mm-hmm. You created the company, you put it all into motion and everything. You're supposed to be the one making sure that everything is done properly. So it's your responsibility. You're responsible for it. And that's kind of how I view God.